Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Jake here, and welcome back to another Pokemon Go PvP video. And in this video, we're going to be looking at the meta for the Boulder Cup and trying to reduce it down to you guys to make it as clear and as easy to understand as possible. So here you guys have it. We have the Boulder Cup meta, and you can't see the Gallade is cut off halfway by my face, but we're going to take off my camera here in a second to show you guys the meta. And basically we're going to be breaking this down into the meta itself, then the matchups within the meta for each Pokemon you see here on this infograph. Then we're going to be looking at the group of steals and see which steel types beat each other. And then last but not least, we're going to be looking at the alternatives for each of these Pokemon. So if you don't have some of these Pokemon on this infographic, there are going to be some of the alternatives at the end of the video. So if you guys are new here, please don't forget to smash that subscribe, leave a like, and comment down below what your thoughts are of this meta. And yeah, tell me if you like this video and if you think you found this helpful and if it's accurate or not. Smash that bell and follow me on Twitter as well. That would be very helpful and appreciated. And that means you guys will be able to know when I go live or upload a video. So without further ado, let's get right into the Boulder Cup meta. Alright guys, so I am now gone. I just vanished. I'm a wizard. You're a wizard, Jacob. No, but yeah, to get right into this Boulder Cup meta, we're going to be going from right to left. So we're going to be starting with the Medicham at the right. And the Medicham has quite a few positive matchups in this meta, and it is able to basically take control of the entire meta besides maybe one or two Pokemon. So you guys can see here I got arrows pointing towards Bastiodon and Torterra because Medicham in fact beats both of those really hard, although Torterra gives it a lot more of a trouble than Bastiodon because Bastiodon is rock and steel type, taking 2 times super effective damage from fighting moves, whereas Torterra is grass and ground, so the counters will only be dealing some decent damage for neutral. But since Medicham has Ice Punch, it will give it a lot more of a hard time, and those Razor Leafs do chip away, but Medicham again is quite tanky, so Torterra isn't able to win unless it has that huge shield advantage. Yeah, the king of this meta definitely is going to be either Swampert or the Medicham, so definitely make sure you have one on your team, but if not, there are some alternatives. So we're going to be going to Torterra here, and Torterra's main selling point here is that it will be able to annihilate the Swampert with Hydro Cannon, which is a very OP Pokemon, and Swampert does a lot of work against the meta. Swampert and Medicham are the 2 most game-changing Pokemon in this meta for sure, and you definitely need some really strong counters to them, and Torterra is one of those. Torterra can be considered an off-meta pick, but I consider it meta because it has a really strong role, and the only role is to beat Swampert pretty much. So yeah, it's as simple as that, guys. Now moving on to Swampert here. Swampert is a ground and water, so it's taking 2 times super effective damage from grass, but Swampert's main few functions is that it can beat the Gallade and it can beat a lot of other Pokemon, but we're going to get into that here in a second. But it does have positive matchups against Gallade as long as it has 1 or 2 shields, guys. Gallade will be able to best Swampert though without shields, so shields down, because that Leaf Blade from Gallade only takes 3 confusions to get to, and like I said before, Swampert is 2 times weak to those grass moves. So definitely make sure you keep your shields on Swampert if you want to be able to win your matches. So next we got Gallade, one of my favorite and coolest looking Pokemon out there. Gallade is going to want Confusion, Close Combat, and Leaf Blade, so its community move won't really make a difference here. All that psychic damage will be given from that Confusion. So Gallade in this infographic we have here has no winning matchups, but we'll be taking a look at Gallade here in a second at its matchups specifically, but its main role here is to counter Medicham, guys. Like I said, Medicham is one of the biggest threats in this cup, and it needs to be checked, and Gallade is able to do that very, very well. And on top of that, Gallade is also able to beat some of the walls in this meta, and it also has great shield baiting potential with Leaf Blade and close combat. So you have to definitely be on the lookout when you're running, let's say, a team with Bastiodon and Medicham, because Gallade can win both of those matchups pretty convincingly as well. Yeah, we'll take a look into these matchups here in just a moment. So next we have the group of Steels and Confusion users. Now I could have paired Bronzong and Jirachi with Gallade, but they both aren't able to do the same things. So the main appeal of these Steel types and part Psychics, being Bronzong and Jirachi, is that they are all able to beat Gallade very, very convincingly, because they are all resisting confusion damage, they're all resisting grass, and they're taking that neutral damage from close combat, but Gallade is really squishy, so those confusions from Bronzong and Jirachi will hurt a lot on Gallade. And same thing with Skarm. Skarm's Air Slash will do a bunch of damage to Gallade. So that's the main role of these Steel types, and that is to kill Gallade. So jumping into their main counter is going to be Bastiodon. Now Bastiodon is the anti-flyer and anti-steel of this meta. Being steel and rock itself, Bastiodon with Flamethrower is able to take down Skarm, Jirachi, and Bronzong. Although I do have Bronzong outlined in red, which means if that Bronzong is carrying its new move Bulldoze, Bronzong will be able to win against Bastiodon with proper shield baiting. So that's one thing to definitely take note of. That matchup is definitely not in Bastiodon's favor, and make sure you do run Bronzong with Bulldoze, because it's a lot better of a coverage move for this cup. So yeah, that covers it for the overall general Boulder Cup meta, guys. Let's jump into the matchups with Gallade. Alright guys, so my camera is still gone. I am vanishing so that you guys can see this well enough to be able to understand. So you guys can see we have Gallade outlined here in blue. A lot of blue on the screen. And we have arrows pointing towards Gallade's positive matchups against these few options within the Boulder meta. So, like I said a little earlier, Gallade will be able to pick up solid wins against Medicham and Bastiodon, because those confusions are doing quite a bit of damage even though it's neutral. Gallade is getting that stab from its part Psychic typing, and Gallade is already a really high attack based Pokemon, so those confusions will definitely chunk down Medicham, and almost everything that Medicham is throwing at Gallade is going to be resisted because it's part Psychic. So those counters, those power punches won't be doing very effective, although the ice punches will be dealing neutral, so watch out for those. And Gallade's next very dominant win is against Bastiodon, because it has close combat, and if you can land one unshielded, that's pretty much a one shot KO against Bastiodon. So there you go. There's the positive matchups for Gallade, and that's pretty much what its role is in the meta. So guys, jumping into this next Pokemon, we're going to be highlighting Swampert here in blue. And Swampert's two main jobs are to cover for Bastiodon and the other Steel, Psychic, Flying types. So because Bastiodon is double weak to ground, Swampert will be able to mop the floor with Bastiodon all day long. Those Hydro Cannons are super spammy, like you know, and they'll be dealing super effective damage. So bye-bye to that Bastiodon there. It's going to get wrecked. And so will Bronzong and Jirachi. Although confusions will hurt Swampert a lot because of its squishiness, it is able to fire off Hydro Cannons at a very quick rate, and either one do a whole ton of damage or easily take both shields down. And it's going to pretty much be a GG for Jirachi and Bronzong. But against Skarmory, it's a closer matchup, because Skarmory can get to its charge moves a little quicker, and because Swampert has nothing that does super effective damage to Skarmory, it is able to hold up a little bit better. But without shields, Skarmory should be able to beat out your Swampert because it is very, very squishy, and Skarmory has that attack and has that defense to hold up against about 2 Hydro Cannons. So yeah, there you go. That's Swampert's role in this meta. Now let's take a look at the next Pokemon. Alright, so next up we have the Steel types. Things like Skarmory, Bronzong, and Jirachi. And these two have one huge role in this cup, and one is to beat down the ultimate counter to Swampert, which is Torterra. Now, there's no real explanation needed for this. You guys know this. This is basically a Venusaur matchup with Skarmory. You can farm it. It is 100% a matchup that is farmable. So if you get matched up, just farm it all the way, guys. Don't use a shield. You'll be fine. You'll be good to go, as long as it's not an earthquake. So yeah, besides that though, it can also counter Medicham, but I also have that Medicham outlined because these matchups are very, very close and highly dependent on how many shields you have, how much HP you have, and all other factors like that. The confusion users like Bronzong and Jirachi should be able to handle Medicham quite well, but it's purely dependent, like I said, on shields and HP. They should be able to win in one shield matchups or matchups without shields for sure. And then Skarmory does lose in the 2 shield and it wins in the 1 shield. So there you guys go. Those are the matchups, the positive matchups for both Medicham and the Steel group. Now let's take a look at who wins within the Steel typing group of this meta. So next, guys, like I said, we have the Steel group. So Skarmory is the ultimate winner here within these 3 Steels. It is able to best Bronzong and Jirachi, even though they are resisting flying type attacks. Skarmory is also resisting their confusions, and as you guys know, confusion is really, really slow, and it takes a long time to build up that energy. So Skarmory being able to resist those is huge, and along with that, Skarmory can fire off those charge moves quicker than these confusion users can. And since both of these Pokemon have access to only either ground, psychic, or steel type attacks, Skarmory will be resisting that because steel resists steel, and Skarm overall is just ultimately just more tanky than these Pokemon. So yeah, that's the explanation of that. Now let's get into Torterra in this cup. So Torterra, outlined in blue here, is focused because it has 2 pretty crucial matchups, and 1 is against Gallade and 2 is against Bastiodon. So Torterra has a crucial role, and that is to kill not only Swampert but also Bastiodon and Gallade. Now that's quite the role there, because Torterra can beat Gallade, one of the most unique Pokemon in this meta that can do a lot of things. And Torterra is able to do that because Razor Leaf will be doing tons of damage and chipping away really fast at that Gallade. And because Gallade has confusion and Leaf Blade, it takes a very long time to get to those. As long as you have the shields to protect your Torterra, it should easily be able to beat both Bastiodon and Gallade, just because of its pure damage output. Now Bastiodon, things are a lot closer, but in a 0 shield matchup, you are able to beat out Bastiodon because you are able to get to that Earthquake. And 1 Flamethrower won't be able to KO Torterra at that range, so you'll be good to go. So last but not least, guys, finish off this Boulder Cup breakdown. Let's get into the alternative picks that you guys have available to you if you don't have access to any of these Pokemon on the screen. So guys, we are back. Poof! I'm back in here, guys. Let's go. So you can't see my camera slightly cuts off the Gallade and the Claydol, but you guys aren't missing much. All there is over there is the boulder icon. That's a little thing popping above my face cam. You'll see it like right up there. That's just like the the boulder icon. But anyways, here are your alternatives for this cup, guys. If you don't have any of those 7 or 8 Pokemon that I showed before, these are the alternatives for each of those. So here you have 6 Pokemon. The main 6, pretty much almost 100% of what people are going to be running in their teams. So yeah, this cup is quite boring and doesn't have much variety, but here are the alternatives. So for grass, there's very little grass coverage in this cup, guys. And Torterra you'll definitely want over Breloom, but if you don't have Torterra, Breloom is a solid option as well. But just realize that you'll be taking 2 times super effective damage from flying rather than just 1 times, because you're both grass and fighting. But you have that counter to charge up those grass charge moves like Seed Bomb or Grass Knot very fast, and that can serve the same purpose as Torterra. And next we have Medicham, and there's tons of other Pokemon that have those power punches or counters in this cup. We have things like Hitmonchan with literally the same moveset as Medicham, counter, power punch, ice punch all the way. Then you have Lucario, which one benefit is that you're not taking super effective from flying anymore, but that leaves you vulnerable to ground type moves with counter, power punch, and Shadow Ball. And then we have Toxicroak, which could be pretty decent, but it is gonna get absolutely annihilated by Skarmory and Gallade because of its double weakness to Psychic. And you're gonna want to run counter, Sludge Bomb, and Mud Bomb there for sure. And then for the ground waters, for the Mud Boys, besides Swampert, you guys know it's gonna be Whiscash, Marshtomp, and Quagsire for the most part. And if you don't have any of those, well then you're out of luck, because there's nothing else that can really replace Swampert that well. But Whiscash and Quagsire do quite well. And then next we have the walls, and the things that wall Skarmory. That is going to be Bastiodon. Now Bastiodon's alternatives, if you don't have one, are things like Melmetal, like Steelix, and Probopass. These all pretty much do the same things. Melmetal is a lot squishier. Steelix isn't the best at walling Skarm, but Probopass and Bastiodon are both definitely hard walls to it. So any of these you can choose, just your preference pretty much. And then for Skarmory, this is quite funny because we actually had this in the same group earlier, but you can run 2 of these same Pokemon on your team if you'd want. If you want to run Skarmory and Bronzong for that extra coverage against Medicham, you can. But just know that if you don't want to run Skarmory, you can certainly run Bronzong, Jirachi, or oddly enough, Gliscor. So yeah, these Pokemon are mainly there to beat the Medichams of the meta, and they can also handle Torterra and Gallade really well. So make sure to keep those in mind. You can run 2 of these on your team if you'd like, but just know you'll be more weak to other things like Bastiodon. So last but not least, we have Gallade's pretty much only alternative, I'd say. You can't really replace Gallade that well at all, but if I had to choose any Pokemon to replace it, I would choose Claydol, because it has that access to Confusion as well, and it has slightly better matchups against Skarmory because it does have Gyro Ball, and it can also beat Bastiodon really well, and it has really good matchups against the Medicham. With Earth Power, you're going to want to run 100%, and on the side probably Gyro Ball, and then obviously you want to run Confusion. Make sure it's Confusion and not the other one. Yeah, that's pretty much Gallade's only alternative. There's not much to replace Gallade really, because it's very unique in its matchups. So yeah guys, that pretty much covers it for the Boulder Cup meta, the updated version to be specific. If you guys would like to find these infographs, you can find them on my Twitter, which is always linked down below for you guys to go check out, and I'll post those right before I upload this video, so you guys can have the files on hand if you found this helpful and if you would like to use this for your cups. And yeah, like I said in my previous meta video on Twilight, just because I give you guys the information will not mean you'll be able to play well. So make sure you practice up, you pick a balanced team composition, and try to get those wins. The season is coming to a close here very soon, and this is the last chance you have to prove your skill as a player, as a trainer. Oh yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, please don't forget to smash that subscribe, leave a like, and comment down below your thoughts on this meta and how well I explain this. And make sure to hit that bell notification to be notified whenever I upload a video or go live. Last but not least, thank you to my Patreons once again for supporting me on Patreon. You guys are very, very much appreciated. And I know a few of you requested me to make this Boulder Cup meta breakdown, so here it is. I hope it was worth your while, and I hope you enjoyed. So that finishes it off for today's video. Hope you all enjoyed once again, and I thank you all for your support, for watching, liking, subscribing, everything you guys do. And until the next video, I will talk to you guys later. Have a great day, and peace out.